In this video, we'll look at average total costs. In this video, you will learn the definition of average total costs, the formula for the average total cost, how to calculate the average total cost using the formula total cost divided by total production, and fourth, to interpret the average total cost graph. The definition of average total cost is the cost that the firm incurs per unit of product or per unit of output. The average total cost is really the cost of producing a single unit of the good or service that the firm makes or sells. Average total cost is found by dividing the total cost by the total production of the good made by the firm. Specifically, the firm is total cost divided by total production. The table represents Colleen's and Boris's costs from a previous video. You might want to download and print out this table so that you can follow along with the examples. The first column of the table represents total production of their printer factory. For example, the number of printers that Boris and Colleen's factory produces is 5. The second column represents the total cost of producing a particular number of printers. For example, 35 represents the total cost of producing 8 printers. The third column represents the average total cost of producing printers, or the cost per printer. Let's look at how to calculate the average total cost per printer. The average total cost cannot be calculated for the first row because the total amount of production is 0, and dividing any number by 0 is undefined. As a result, enter NA or a dash in the first row of numbers for the average total cost. Let's move on to the next row where the firm produces 1 printer. Next, we'll write down the formula for calculating the average total cost divided by total production. Next, locate the total cost column on the table and in the formula. Notice that the total costs in the second row of numbers is 15. Next, substitute 15 in for the total cost in the formula. Next, locate the total production in the table and in the formula. Notice that the second row of numbers for total production is 1. Substitute 1 in for the total production. Next, we'll do the calculation part of the procedure. Divide 15 by 1, which is equal to 15. Transfer the 15 into the average total cost column. So let's move down to the next row of numbers. Let's start the process by writing down the formula total cost divided by total production. Next, locate the total cost column on the table and in the formula. Notice that the total costs associated with the third row of numbers is $18. Next, substitute $18 into the formula. Looking at the table, find the production on the table and total production in the formula. Notice that 2 is the amount of printers that the firm produces when the cost is 18. Substitute 2 into the formula. dividing 18 by 2 gives $9 per printer. Next, transfer the $9 to the third row of numbers in the average total cost column. To start the process of calculating the average total cost for the fourth row of numbers, write down the formula for the average total cost, which is total cost divided by total production. Next, locate the total cost column on the table and locate the total cost in the formula. Notice that the total cost for the production of 3 printers is $20. Next, substitute in $20 for the total cost in the formula. Locate the total production on the table and locate the total production in the formula. Notice the amount of printers produced is 3. Next, substitute in 3 for the total production in the formula. Next, divide $20 by 3, which is equal to $6.67, rounding to 2 digits. Next, transfer the $6.67 to the fourth row of numbers in the table. If you'd like to practice these calculations on your own, pause the video and print out the table from the website. After printing out the table, complete the table. If you need some help doing the calculations, feel free to rewind the video and review the procedure. Pause the video to check your answers. Before discussing the particular features of the graph of average total cost, let's take a minute to understand its structure. The horizontal axis represents the amount of total production or output. Total production or output increases as one moves from left to right. The vertical axis or the y-axis represents the average total cost. Average total costs increase as one moves upward from the bottom. The average total cost curve shows that as production increases, the average total cost first declines, reaches a minimum point, and then increases. In this video, you learned the average total cost is the cost per unit of production or the cost per unit of output. The formula for calculating the average total cost divided by total production. 3. You learned the process of calculating the average total cost. 4. You learned how to interpret the graph of the average total cost, which shows that average total cost first declines, reaches a minimum point, and then increases.